Hey guys, welcome to our review of Disney Plus's Skeleton Crew, which came out a day early, and it was a 2-episode premiere. I was only expecting one, and I think that actually works out in its favor. A 2-episode premiere of this kind of child adventure film. It's kind of based on the Goonies, the Explorers. If you haven't seen Explorers, it's one of my favorite. Go see it.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, Flight of the Navigator, E.T. There are elements that I can pick up of bunch of different ones in there, including Back to the Future and things like that. So it's basically a series about children. So. Is it necessarily marketed towards us? I actually think so. I do think so. You're saying no, but I think so because it's like, it's Amblin stuff. As you grow older, we've all seen Goonies. We've all seen, Explorers. We've seen E.T. So I think it does have a little bit for the adults, but I ultimately agree with you that it's more perhaps for children because it's a series about children. They're going to be acting like children. It's lighthearted. With a little bit of danger here and there on the side. That's not the purpose of it. This isn't Andor. This isn't, Darth Vader doing his thing in Rogue One. This is something to bring in some new people. And so we've got some project leads here. John Watts and Christopher Ford. Under tutelage and supervision of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And they've created essentially Goonies in space, or Explorers in space. And so far, based on the 2 episodes, I thought it was a solid opening. Not bad, not really bad like some of the shit we've seen from Acolyte and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's nothing that I would run out and see or buy Disney Plus over. However, it does have potential. There are a few episodes left, and it could go up or down from here. And I'm hoping that it goes up from here. So ultimately, I did like the Skeleton Crew. I will say the individual children, they're all stereotypes. You got your smart kid and who's, empathetic. You got your kind of rascal who's, he's
the one that's always worried about stuff.
The worried guy, that's the elephant dude. And then you got your rascal who, has courage, but he's kind of dumb. And then you got your rebel, this girl, at least in here, that... she's actually a rich kid. Her mom is apparently in charge of a lot of stuff. I think her name is Fern. She's, adventurous as well and has a little bit of a kind of mean streak to her, but that opens up for some character development. And I think it starts really strong. I was surprised by the opening action sequence. Basically, pirates boarding action. Visceral, people getting shot. It's not going to be like, this ain't a show for babies. This isn't Jedi Adventures, or so there was some cartoon for kids.
That's
kids
what I was
talking.
Thinking it's going to be kind of like
ages 4 to 8 or something like that. No, there's a bit in here. Of course, it's on Disney Plus, and it is geared towards the children, so they can watch along. So they're never going to go too hard. I appreciated little Easter eggs I picked up here. I did not expect to see some holiday special Star Wars stuff in here. And there's some Michael Jackson references, Captain EO, that may potentially tie Michael Jackson's sci-fi Captain EO as in the Star Wars universe. That's that little... There's this little a creature that's caught that flies. That is the exact creature from Captain EO. Comes out flying
when you're wearing the glasses.
So I had fun. I think the first episode on its own, there's not enough there that was getting me excited. The second episode, though, adds that meat. So really, if they release these 2 as one, I would be excited. So when I factor in the second episode, I'm interested to see where it goes. And it's how these kids get home. Ultimately, is this new person that they meet, Jude Law's character, is he a Jedi? Is he lying? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? And what are they going to learn along the way?
Friendship.
And then they do set up a central mystery about the planet that they're from. Aten, it's a real weird planet name. that seems to be some hidden planet with a barrier. The kids can't even see stars. They didn't even know what stars were. And apparently, it's a legend outside of that planet as some kind of treasure planet. But I've seen some dark theories about what this planet could be, and that has me excited. But I don't want to invest too much into these theories, so I'm going to want to let it play out and see how it is. Yeah. I thought it was fun. What did you guys think of Star Wars?
Honestly, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was a little throwback to the 80s, like all those movies that you mentioned. It's a good show, but like you were saying, it's a good show for a family. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to watch it. I don't have kids. It's something I honestly don't want to watch. When I think of Star Wars, I don't think of this. This honestly does not really feel like Star Wars. It just feels like a little 80s little tropey movie or something like that. But overall, it's still pretty good. The kids aren't very annoying. I like where this is going, but I wouldn't watch this.
Huh? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think this is fun. I mean, you can see the quality on the screen. I watch all of those. I mean, I've watched Goonies 100 times. I've seen Goonies in theaters. Like, I really appreciate all of those, the types of movies that it's referencing. But it's not for me. It's not made for me. It was not made with me in mind, and that's totally fine. But I can sit there and appreciate. It's like, hey, exactly. I recognize that people are going to love this. They're going to have some fun with it. As of right now, there's only the tiniest little whiff of Star Wars being in. Like, you see the kid reading his comic book on BD-8.
Exactly.
But I'm at the problem when you're only doing 2 episodes of this TV show is we don't have all of the context yet. So maybe that'll get fleshed out. I would not probably have even started it on my own. But I think
saw trailers for it and stuff.
Yeah,
like, man, I don't care.
But if you're looking for like your kids' generation Goonies, that's somehow a TV show and not a movie.
What age were you when you first watched the Goonies? What made you interested in the Goonies, or were
teenager.
you just not interested at all in the Goonies and you saw it and you were like, oh, I like this?
I was a teenager. I was interested in it. Obviously, it had pirates and cool mystery.
This has pirates. There's a cool mystery.
Not really, but it's more like kind of leaning to the Star Wars stuff. It's opening scene. I was like, okay, the suburbs and stuff like that. It doesn't really feel
We're like an hour and 15 minutes.
I think I ran into Goonies by just watching one of my dad's old VHSs.
I watched it as a kid.
Yeah, and so it's like I didn't see trailers for it, and I walked into it. I was like, I just discovered it was like a great, a film that I was like, wow, that was really, really
That's
good.
What happened
It's
to me,
got good music. It's got sloth.
But
it's got everything that you want.
Would I have seeked it out on my own? No. Would I had said this is for me? No. At least not back then. But ultimately, I'm glad that I watched it.
Yeah, we're the majority. Like time run wise, we are more than halfway through the movie of Goonies and what we've seen so far. And so like it's a TV show, right? They stretch things out as much as they can because they want that view hours.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not fair to do like a one for one comparison because like Goonies is what 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And we've seen how long was the first episode? An hour?
Like 40
minutes. It's
something like
40.
Like the second one was like 28.
Yeah.
It gets pretty quick. I can't give you exact run times because this page doesn't have that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the first one is set around 40. But yeah, obviously you got to introduce characters and stuff like that in the beginning, and then they finally take off. Okay, now we could see the adventure. Mm-hmm. But again, it is good. Mm-hmm. I do enjoy it, but I'm not really the target.
Yeah, it's like watching like snowboard things. Like you want my old top heavy ass, and it's like I reckon that's fun for him. I hate that. I'm going to die on the mountain. And so it's like I recognize that it's fun and people are going to enjoy it, but I'm going to be down at the bottom drinking hot cocoa watching
So
Andor.
if it's not directed towards you and you still think it's good, then I would think that would be, doing well because it's like I don't care about this, but I think it's good. I agree with you guys ultimately. However, when I go back and I look, it's like, what made me a fan of Star Wars? What did I do? Can I identify with these characters? And I did. I did mimic playing, with sabers, playing with toys and Star Wars and just wanting to go on adventures and going out, exploring, wishing that I had my own starship, wishing that I found a Jedi temple and became a Jedi and stuff like that. So, I found it easy to identify with the character's Win, even though he's a little stupid and makes a bunch of mistakes, and the girls boss him around the whole fucking time. He doesn't really do much, and his friend Neo is kind of funny, which they made a huge error with Neo. Everybody gonna think that he's the Max Rebo race, and he's like a little Max Rebo. For some ungodly reason, they decided, no, this is a completely different race.
You see his parents, it's not the same.
They're not the same. And I was like, what? This is dumb. Why you gotta make two? Because everybody, I've already seen in reviews and people typing, they're like, oh, that's a Max Rebo race. You know, that's so cool that we get to see another of his type. That's not of his type. Apparently, it's completely different. I had saved it somewhere. But anyways, it's immaterial because, it's not Max Rebo. Neo is a different species. Both belong to the same general alien race known as Ortolan, which is the same species as Max Rebo, but there's key physical differences. Wait a minute. That one says
they are the same. Oh.
But this one, making Neo a blue elephantine character that is not an Ortolan like Max Rebo, but a member of a different unspecified species. So this is the more correct article because it has an interview with the guy. He said, quote unquote, obviously we drive our car right into that controversy. Ford admits with a chuckle, we just went right in there and did it.
All seven people who knew what
all seven
Ortolans
people
are.
who care that I was like, all right, whatever. You're just creating confusion. Everybody will say Max Rebo anyway. Anyways, I like the world that they're creating. I like to see the pirates,
werewolf pirate,
werewolf. So I watched another video that was like in the original Cantina scene. There was this werewolf race, and you barely saw it was a Halloween mask. And George Lucas didn't like it when he did his digital stuff, so they replaced it with a completely different alien. And this is the return of that original done right. And he looks cool as shit, and I like him.
It still looks like a Halloween mask, though.
Yeah, but I like. Yeah, it is. It's goofy. It's campy a little bit.
It goes with the theme.
It fits
the theme.
I think it's got a that Amblin feel to it. Now I do think it's derivative, and I think ultimately it's going to be good, not great. It's when it mimics these other stories, Goonies, Explorers, Flight of the Navigator, it'll be it might be better than Flight of the Navigator.
How dare you?
But it's kind of boring. Anyways. It's a discovery, and I'm hoping that it does well enough. Is it marketed towards me? I don't know. I think a little bit. If you can self-identify with the characters and the coming-of-age stuff, if you still appreciate those kinds of stories, then there can definitely be something here for you. So we'll go into the individual episodes, what happens in them, and give them a rating in the spoilers or the breakdown section. For now, let's go ahead and give the premiere a score. We'll go ahead and bundle both episodes into the premiere. What would you give the 2-episode premiere of Skeleton Crew?
I would give this a 7. It's a good show. I like it so far. Cool stuff, like it takes me back, but again, honestly, it doesn't really feel like Star Wars. If it was its own thing, yeah, cool. Like I still appreciate it.
What specifically about it doesn't feel like Star Wars? I think the biggest concern so far has been the suburbia area. That
just take away the book, like he said. Do you honestly think it's Star Wars?
Oh, like you would
take that away.
Take what away?
He has a PDA comic book thing that he looks through the entire time. Like they kind of
constantly have to.
It's Star Wars, we promise.
That's what you didn't mind the suburbia?
Well, I'm just saying, like it doesn't feel like a Star Wars thing. Like take away that, then honestly,
you wouldn't even
really recognize it at all as a Star Wars.
Oh, as Star Wars property?
Yeah. Like even if it's on its own thing, it's still good. I still enjoy it.
What would you think of Skeleton Crew? Better or worse if it was its own thing?
Its own thing. I honestly think it's its own thing.
More fun with it.
Yeah, just do whatever. You don't have to tie it in and like kind of.
Then I was like, okay,
well,
you look at it from two angles. Would it stand on its own without the Star Wars licensing? And if it's called, a Space Pirate Adventure, then I also the other side of that coin is the Star Wars universe big enough to tell a story like this to have a self-contained story? And I think yes. So that's why it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, right now Star Wars is not. It's very high right now, obviously. But if it was his own thing, I honestly feel like you could. This is still good. I still enjoy it. Like I said.
Well, that's a good start.
It's a 7 for me. I like the kids. It's not a. It's pretty good. It brings me back to the old school stuff. I do like some of the pirate stuff because it finally kind of picks up in episode 2. Beginning one kind of slow start. It ramps up. We'll see how it goes with Jude Law because he's supposed to be this ruthless guy, I guess. But
I don't know.
Gonna be,
Is it ruthless? I heard not.
No,
I don't know. I haven't seen him, Joe.
Oh, in the beginning.
Well, yeah, you're assuming he's the pirate captain.
Yeah, he's a pirate captain.
Kills all these
that's
people.
pretty obvious.
Yeah, so it's like he kills all these
for
people
sure.
that for money. Then
They get mad at him. And he's like, "Oh, you took us here for one
It's
fucking
mutiny then.
minute."
Why would he stay in that fucking prison for so long if he could just grab this?
He didn't
He didn't have a way out.
There-
That's
no
where
one's
the
gonna-
kids
yeah, the
tie
kids
in. It's like,
yeah.
"Oh, you have a ship.
Oh, ship now.
Yes,
Got it.
now we have a ship. Let's begin our
I mean, you could
adventures."
just he could just stow away aboard any other ship.
especially if he
But
has
you
Jedi
wouldn't have.
powers.
He has
You
Jedi.
Unless
wouldn't have
magnets.
the cool
That's
adventures
gonna have
with
to have a
kids.
good explanation, I think.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, I also I recognize the quality. It's an interesting thing because I think one of the reasons that those 80s movies work so well for me is they're self-contained 90-minute stories. And so this is going to be much longer than that. And so we spent a lot of time introducing us to some of these kids. And it's like when you're watching Goonies, like Mouth isn't that great of a character, but he's on screen for the parts that we need him on screen for, and we don't spend a whole lot of time with him. So like there was times where it's like, okay, I've had enough of this kid. Like we need to get to the actual story thing because if we're going for the Amblin formula, I think for me one of the reasons it worked is like things kind of picked up. Yeah. So they're stretching it out, and I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. We're trending in the right direction though because I was way more interested in this at the end of episode 2.
Oh, for sure.
Had they only released episode 1, I would tell people to not watch it until it's entirely out. But I think that if you're watching it with your kids, knowing that episode 2 picks up, the world gets interesting, the stakes are raised.
Yeah.
I think it's solid enough, but I don't think it's for me.
Mm-hmm. So the rating again was 7, and I'm right there with you guys. Though I think I like it a little more. I love the whimsical and the celebration of loving Star Wars, and I think it's the coming of age stories. I just found a Kathleen Kennedy quote, and it sucks. I'm going to have to agree with Kathleen Kennedy here, even though I hate what she's done to Star Wars and fucked up the sequel trilogy and made tons and tons of
money,
dumbass decisions. She could have probably made more money.
She could have made more.
But Ford said Kelly told them that she never thought of the Amblin films as being for kids. They were making this pitch to her, and she basically was like, I love it. I love this idea. And they were like, it's like we were talking to the right person about it because she knew who speaking to the right person who was there and knows the 11 herbs and spices that go into it. And he said that Kennedy told them that she never thought of the Amblin films as being for kids, but rather being stories that just happen to be about kids. The story of a kid going on an adventure. And this kind of inspired him to then develop the show for audience of all ages. And I agree with that sentiment. I think that, if you're old, if you're 40 years old, if you're 60 years old, I still think that you can watch Goonies and Explorers and
Muppet Treasure Island, still fucking amazing.
Flight of the Navigator, and I don't know about that one.
Oh, it's fucking
Tim Curry
great.
is amazing.
Yes.
It's
You
fun.
haven't seen it, check it out.
So check it out and just
got adult jokes.
set your expectations obviously for the type of content that's going to be in it. And so as long as it's executing it well enough and at a good level, which is what we think so far Skeleton Crew is doing. It's executing it at a good level. It's good to see because, like Joe referenced, Star Wars is not in a good place right now. And
sad.
It is sad. I don't think kids give a shit about it. I was reading this other article with Manny Jacinto was saying, the Acolyte, Quamir was saying, like, they wanted it to be so big. Season 2, 3, they were planning action figures. I'm like, ain't nobody buying action figures for those characters. Maybe Quamir's character.
The helmet.
The helmet, yeah, guy.
I want a naked
and,
one.
Oh, God.
And you know that his ties to Darth Plagueis and maybe being in season 2, but maybe even being a season 3 thing. And I was like, yeah, that sounds Disney. They would drag that shit out as long as they could. Sure. So when we're going from shit like that to something that makes me just feel good, that makes me smile, it's kind of goofy, cheesy, dumb. You just have to accept a little bit more of the, pod racing and little goofy, tiny little characters and stuff, and the more whimsical that Star Wars is. And I think Star Wars is so massive that it's okay, to play in that a little bit.
Yeah,
especially when we have Andor season 2 on the way.
I never really loved the whimsical stuff. Like, I remember watching all 3 of the original movies together, and there was this big difference.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And it was like, what the fuck are these little teddy bears? I'm supposed to believe that these teddy bears. And then I had someone explain to me, oh, they needed to sell more toys because of all of the money that went involved. Because 1 and 2, there's a little bit. That's not super serious, but there's a big difference between.
Oh, in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, and then so it's like
I saw it at the right time when I was young, so I liked the Ewoks, but I can understand if people be like, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah,
I hate Ewoks. This completely ruins the tone of Star Wars.
It definitely changed the tone towards kiddiness and purposefully trying to sell toys, and so anytime they veer towards that, it's like, as a kid, I appreciated stories. Like they make movies for about children, not for children. It's like, I think that if they get back to that, stop treating the audience like they're 4 years old.
Yeah,
and I think
even
we'll get better.
Alex was
Honestly,
5. He was 5, stroking his beer with his pipe. He's like, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that's going to sell toys either way in that era when Return of the Jedi was coming out, whether it was Ewoks or whether it was more and unique-looking stormtroopers or whatever it be. So I don't know how much I put into that. They were going to make toys anyway, and it's like, do we need to make them little guys? I'd like to see the sales numbers of Ewoks versus stormtroopers and see how. I don't believe Ewoks is really there.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said for good, good whimsical and bad whimsical, and Star Wars has had a lot of bad whimsical recently. Stuff with, Boba Fett and that fucking... I'm
going to flip this table right now. I'm going to fucking flip this table.
Those multicolored scooters and the spinning around in one place.
I want them to die.
Yeah, because it's about tone, right?
Yes.
When you're looking at an underboss.
Those greasers, it's like, get the fuck out of this universe.
It just doesn't
you
work.
don't fit.
But because we are watching a story about kids coming of age, you allow more of the goofiness.
I did more of it.
Like that little dude, the little munchkin who was at the pirate port, and he's the ferryman. And he's like, give me money.
Like, oh, shit.
I like that little guy. Anyways, so I am ultimately going to go with the premiere. I wish it premiered even harder and better.
Yes, first one especially.
To really win people over, I think, is what Star Wars needed. But I think it does just enough for people who are like, yeah, this is cool. 7 out of 10 for me. And hopefully it goes up from there. And, if I were to make a prediction, I think it'll be good, not great. So I think it'll probably end around 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
For sure.
Ultimately,
especially for Star Wars right now.
Right, yeah. All right, cool. Well, we like Star Wars Skeleton Crew. I recommend you go out and see it, and the boys think it's good. Maybe not particularly for them.
Yeah, watch it with your family.
You
don't.
It's holidays right now, so it's a perfect time for it. Okay, jumping into the breakdown. Okay, episode 1. So we get the cool pirate intro. I really like that. That is filmed like it's any other Star Wars series currently. They don't try to kid it up or anything like that. There are people getting shot and thrown. I really like the werewolf guy. It's just a cool design. I love the practical effects. One thing that I wanted to forgot to mention in the main review is they're not using that stupid volume set that makes everything feel like it's all digital or green screen. They are using real sets here. They're going above and beyond with the costumes, the aliens, and everything. And I think it helps. It helps with that, real feeling to it. So I liked it. Then we get to the kid, and he is seen playing with Star Wars toys. Those fucking toys suck. So you're telling me in the future,
it reminded me of the Mexican wrestlers. It's the Mexican wrestlers that I used to get.
Stuck.
They're just stuck.
You don't
like
even
this.
have opposable. You don't even have individual limbs that
Yeah,
can
I'm
move.
like, what the fuck is? That's some terrible toys.
That's shitty. So it's like, I don't know. The technology always makes me go crazy in Star Wars. It's advanced, yet it's not.
It's like you have your own line of toys. Use it.
So those toys were even worse than the toys that came out for Star Wars in the 70s when the first Star Wars came out, because at least those had the things. So I don't know. Upgrade your toys. But then meanwhile, we've got iPads with glowing bits and 3D, and like, but who made that?
Yeah, we get our first trope here. It's like the kid with a busy father. He's never around. So then he's like, oh, here's some money for the week. I'm going to be gone.
Just like Goonies or just
he's like, oh, time to get into, where's your mom? And like, I guess we'll find out later that she died, sadly. That's usually what happens, right?
Yep.
And then he's going to get together. Fern's mom is single, too. I mean, are we...
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, shit. I don't know. Anyways, he wants to be a Jedi when he grows up, and...
That's stupid. That's not how Jedis work, dumbass kid.
He needs to check his midichlorian count.
Yeah, it's pretty low. Pretty low.
This is children, so this is before Star Wars is ruined for them, okay? So I wanted to be a Jedi. And this is what I would do with my friends. You know,
yeah,
as
for sure.
We'll go to school, they're sweet. Playing around like they've got sabers. And his Neo is precious. I like him the most of the group. He is just a fat kid, and he's just obedient to his parents.
Not fat, he's thick. Okay.
He's the thick kid. And
elephants are strong, man.
Yeah, I like this one. So far, he's my favorite one. Mm-hmm. When they first meet, he's like, you should have come here and did this little Star Wars stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that with my friends sometime. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. It's very jarring, though, the suburbia look. So this is what made me feel like this isn't Star Wars. You could have just done this in any series, and I think it would have worked equally as well and not had the baggage of Star Wars. However, I thought about it more, and I said, Star Wars is such a massive galaxy that I think a coming-of-age story can be told Amblin style in Star Wars. So I'm there for it, and have it strengthened by the fact that you can bring in Jedi, the fact that you can bring in space pirates and stuff. Well, you could bring in space pirates on any license. But it could work.
It's a mystery box planet. Like, we don't know what the deal is, and I think that's really what makes it work for me, because if it was just any other place, it doesn't work, it doesn't belong, and no amount of bending. But the fact that everyone's like, you say you come from Atlantis, that's stupid, like the Star Wars equivalent. And so, like, that makes sense that it is such a place in a vacuum that other people don't think is real. That's the only reason I think it works for me.
And I think it works for me, too. Like, I excuse the stupid suburbia look.
No Tatooine. If someone presents a Tatooine story, I'm going to slap you.
You have to have it.
And so could some planet look like this in the Star Wars universe? Sure,
possibly.
It's possible. It still doesn't make it feel right. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. But it's easy to get over, especially since we don't stay there long. And later, as we get more context about the planet is isolated, this and that, then it's even easier to excuse, and it becomes a small nitpick. Now, we have basically a assessment test day at school.
Determines your life, your career path.
Yeah, kind of mother of that rebel-ish character. She's shown to be her mother later on, but we don't know who she is at first. She's some figure of authority, and here is what's leading me to believe that this planet's a little more sinister than we think. So the fucking droids are all like camera bots, like Big Brother stuff. They're not allowed to do this. They're not allowed to do that. There's no creativity. You're not really allowed to like pick your own job and do your own thing. And the stuff that they were learning, that's like some advanced fucking banking and money shit. And so there's some theories that it's like, okay, so this is set after the destruction of the Empire and we're going into the New Republic. Maybe this is a hidden fucking cache for the First Order. And, you know, and eventually this is how the First Order gets all that funding and funded from a planet like this. It's just got some Empire vibes that are under there. Now, whether that ends up, you know, happening and it being sinister, I would like that. If it just turns out to be a wacky planet where they have their own ways,
that's what I'm thinking.
It's like,
I think they're getting too much into it.
We know it's New Republic, right? Because the captain who gets thrown out of the airlock constantly. He says, on behalf of the New Republic, you have to get off my ship, and they just laugh at him. So it's like, we know that I think this is New Republic era.
So the ship is different from the planet. What we know from the planet, they do mention the great work. They are using old Republic credits. They're not using the New Republic credits. In fact, so much so that they're like, holy shit, this thing is...
Yeah, I just mean that the era is New Republic. Like, we know what time...
Yeah, the era is New Republic. Yeah, for sure. But the planet itself, is so isolated that it's using all this old money, and it's like, I don't know... I thought you meant that this new planet is in allegiance with the New Republic. That could be... or maybe not. Maybe it is so isolated that it's not even a part of the New Republic. So that's a mystery that we'll have to keep an eye on, and hopefully it's satisfying. I was just saying that if it is sinister, I would like that. Because I think that's like, Stranger Things and that kind of danger of where you live is cool. But I think you're right, Joe, that ultimately everybody's going to go back home and everything's going to be fine.
It's just El Dorado. It's just another one of those.
It's a shitty place to live, then, and there's like no free will and stuff like that. It's like, I want to live somewhere else. Anyways, they stumble into a ship. The kid is late to school one day, and he tries to take a shortcut. Gets on these like, everybody's got a motherfucking. Are you telling me? In the Star Wars universe, every kid has a speeder. I'm like, damn, man, you see how fast some of those things go. There's a lot of dead kids splattered across the fucking
These don't
pavement.
go as fast. The
80s movies were wild with the child endangerment.
Fast he was going through the forest. Those things do go as
booby
fast.
traps.
Anyways, he uses it, and he does a shortcut. One time he was on the bus, and he saw these little kids, the two girls, doing their racing. And so he tries to follow the path that they went in order to do a shortcut. And they set that up because they showed that, the girls had gotten there before him when he took the bus, but they were kind of in trouble from one of those bots. But he fucks up, and he does like a fucking Akira slide, and then he falls off of his jet bike, essentially, and rolls down the hill and bumps his head on, a doorway. Now, immediately, he wants it to be a Jedi temple. So he thinks it's a Jedi temple. Eventually, one of those robots shows up, gets him out of the hole, because I'm like, shit, how's he going to get out of the hole? Yeah, come on, little kid. I know little kids are stupid, but there's a way to get out of that fucking hole. But he was like, and he just can't get out.
He's particularly stupid.
Yeah. But eventually, as he's taken to the principal office and he's all dirty as hell, she's also in the principal's office. She's a regular troublemaker, and she hears him talking about this. It's pretty convenient, though, that she manages to find it later. He said it was in the forest. And it was like, yeah, but the forest is pretty big and can be anywhere. But I guess she put two and two together that he was trying to take the same shortcut she was. So she kind of searched there, and she's there. And, she plays tricks. The girls love to play the tricks on the boys. She's kind of mean. And as he's trying to dig this up and go inside the Jedi temple, she's like, well, I claim this. And he's like, what? You can't claim it. And then little Max Rebo kid was like, yeah, she did claim it. It's hers. It's like, what? This planet rule sucks. All you have to do is say it first. Yeah, he's a pushover. But he does come up with a good idea, because he's like, okay, we'll dig it out. And then, you guys, so as long as we get to go in first. And his true plan was, once he walks in, he's going to be like, I do claims. And then it's like, you claim the outside of it, we claim the inside of it. And then they're like, God, the girls are so stupid. And then the girls, they show the girls, God, the boys are so stupid. And I was like, I kind of like that. That worked out. It's a clever plan. Unfortunately, he forgets about it, doesn't go through with it. In fact, the first person that enters this ship is KB. Of course, she doesn't lay claim. Anyways, they go inside the ship. I like it. It's very mysterious. She also does more mean shit, tells a fucking fib about there being poison gas and a bunch of people dying. She just likes fucking with them. But ultimately, they all go in there and they see Shmi, or SM33, clearly Shmi, like
Mr.
the right-hand
Shmi.
man to the captain, a pirate captain. But he's all knocked out, and he got the little rat thing that comes out of his eye. I like that it's like two characters in one, that this little rat stays with him, and I hope they continue that. But he's powered off, and, as they're exploring, the girls just want to get out. Same thing with Neo. He just wants to go home. Obviously, what's his name again? Quim. Yeah, Whimsical. Yeah, Whim wants to go exploring. He thinks it's great. He completely forgets about going back home and studying. He just wants to prove his dad wrong. And that makes sense because he's like wants his dad's attention. But his dad is just an absent father and honestly, frankly, a fucking jerk. But
he's trying to support for his family, okay? He's a busy man.
Be a little nicer to his fucking son. Anyways.
Maybe he'd be nicer to a normal son, not a dumbass.
He does say that you're a little old for bedtime stories, so kind of crushes his
Kid, you are 17 years old.
Imagination.
Well, like 10?
I doubt Wim is 17. Anyways, as he's in the bridge while they're in the engineering room and she restores power, just as KB, because she's like the fucking Geordie of the group. She's got the visor and stuff. And
she knows it all.
Tech-oriented.
Yes.
She's also doing repairs on
the ship or the bike. Which one?
Fern? You're talking about Fern's speeder?
Fern's character
okay.
On Fern's speeder. I'm trying to remember these names. Wim, Fern, KB, and Neil. I think I got it now. And yeah, so the power comes on, and Wim can't help himself.
Push the button.
This is like me, honestly. Don't push that button. I'm going to push the button. Honestly, I want to fucking fly a ship anyway, so I'm going to press the button.
They didn't know it was a ship.
You going to fucking die. You didn't know. Yeah, that could be missiles, and the missiles immediately impact upside down in the ship, and then everything blows up. But, of course, it's a kid's film, so that's not going to happen. Instead, it's a perfect launch sequence in which the ship it flies upward, does a belly roll, orients itself correctly, does everything automatically. And while that's happening, it does get a little dangerous. They do have to use some CGI here as they're running out of the hole, and they realize, oh, shit. The thing is levitating. Just then, Wim's father comes in and he sees his son, and it's like, oh shit, man! You see the kid splat? That'd be crazy. But again, not that kind of Star Wars.
We wouldn't have a film.
Even Star Wars is not that kind of Star Wars. But he eventually does get pulled back in, and this ship fucking does hyperdrive. First it goes into orbit, and I was like, man, are these kids stupid or what? They don't even know what stars are. But they know what stars are, but they've never seen them. And it's just to make the point that they're so isolated. They're not told a whole lot. And the sky is really kind of sinister looking and cool looking. It's got this green, wispy stuff and all these red lights. So you could tell that it's an artificial thing.
They live in that Shyamalan town, but in space.
It's like, do you even really want to come back here? Yes, because your families are there, and it'll be a happy ending, and it won't be a first order base in a Splinter Cell or something. But anyways, they hyperspace off, and that's the first episode. So,
but then we get the robots, though. It's like, hey, did you guys see that? It's like, no, there's no such thing. There's no way we would have totally seen it. It's like, there's a cover-up call. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Ultimately, I was jarred by it at first, because it didn't feel like Star Wars, didn't look like Star Wars. I did feel the Amblin, inspirations on it of a kid's coming-of-age story. But I liked it. It's like, this is what I would want to happen to me when I'm a kid. And it's a really cool adventure. So, ultimately, I think this first episode, but still, it was a little jarring. I originally gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was slightly above average on its own. What would you give
for
it?
this one, I'm going to give it a 5. It was a slower start. Yeah, we get it. We have to introduce the characters and parents and whatever. But I kind of wish that would have happened like sooner. Mm-hmm. Like they take off in orbit and stuff. But next one obviously picked up average for me.
Yeah, I think average sounds about right. I definitely see 6 here. I just think that they took a 10, 15-minute Amblin intro and stretched it out into 40, 50 minutes, and it's just like, I just didn't think it needed. I didn't get any greater context. I didn't get any greater character depth. This kind of stuff can be truncated, and we can get to the better bits. It's like if you're going to emulate something, let's emulate the good parts of it, not the 30
I agree. I think I was at a 5. I raised it to a 6 for the opening sequence. That pirate.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I really
liked
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Those little like grappling hooks, and then those guys came over and put the bombs manually on the cannons. And I was always like, yeah, why don't ships use the goddamn cannons? If you're gonna be boarded anyway, you're gonna lose. You might as well use the cannon. So I'm glad that they did. But then they shut them down by some grapple forces. So I thought the opening was cool enough, so that's why I went a little bit up. Otherwise, I'd be right there with you. So we're going into episode 2, but a few Easter eggs. That first Easter egg is the the holiday special, Star Wars holiday special. If you know this is sacrilege. George Lucas is probably fucking pissed off right now. He hates the Star Wars holiday special. He attempted to destroy all copies of the holiday special. Now they've made it canon. And in fact, they're laughing in George Lucas's face because if you look, they're using the exact same footage. Those little performers that you saw in Neil's house.
Yeah. The twins are watching.
The twins are watching. The cute little babies, by the way, the little cute little elephant babies. They're watching it. It's one for one the same footage. So all they did is they took the Star Wars special, put the holographic film, and just threw it out there. And I think it's great. As entertainment in the Star Wars universe, they watch TV or holograms. They watch hologram TV or whatever. There would be probably some stupid-ass channel out there that would be playing some dumb shit like the holiday special. So I liked it. It was fun, and it's like, come on, George, the universe is big enough. Just roll with it to have dumb shit in it, and I agree. Okay, so moving on to episode 2. This one was better.
Yes.
So they're on the ship. They're like, fuck, we went to hyperspace, and we're so lost, and the ship just kind of comes out, and I was like, man, they didn't really ramp it up in the show, but like there's existential fucking terror. If that was a real situation, you're out in space.
Where the fuck do you get back home? Like, how?
That's some scary shit. I wish we would have ramped that up. They did have another scary scene where as the kids are trying to figure out what to do, down the hallway, you see clank, clank, and there's like in the shadows is like a monster, but it turns out to be the robot. They solved this problem a little too easy because the robot's like, Captain, and she gets the idea.
I'm the captain now.
I killed him and this, and he just believes her right away without any proof. That's gonna need some extra there. It's for the kids. And ultimately,
yeah, they're trying to get the coordinates. It's like, take us back home. It's like, where? It's like, this place. It's like, oh, never heard of it. It's like, do you compute? It's like, what's your last known memory? And he's like going back, and then the rat comes out. It's like, oh,
so
no.
his memory banks are jacked up.
Yeah. That's
and
pretty. I was like, fuck, how are we going to get back? That's pretty good.
Yeah. I got a little mad because I was trying to identify with Wim, and then she's like, I'm the captain. I'm like, no, I want to be the captain. Wim, why didn't you say something? Say, I want to be the captain. What does Wim do? Hey, I wanted to be the captain. So I'm like, all right, well, at least they put in a line but he's just not. He's not too bright. He's not.
His brain don't work good.
She's the go-getter, and he's more like the, rush into danger and help somebody or just looking for adventure.
Yes.
Yeah, so then they head on over to Alex.
They start exploring the ship. They see more dead pirates. It's like, oh, they're doing a duel. It's like, oh, well, let's just have fun here. It's like, I want to Neo's like, I want to go home. I'm his family. It's like,
there's no food here, water. We're gonna die.
They're not thinking about that.
Wearing some captain hats. Wim is having a great time because he's exploring
he wants
the
adventure.
ship. Yeah.
That's what he wants, and he's like, oh, we could sleep here, and it's all dusty and stuff. So then he's like, all right, well, let's take us to the nearest place he tells him to.
The pirate,
The pirate, and he takes him to the pirate. It's cool.
Space Tortuga, something.
Yes.
And I like
this
really
place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dangerous. I'm surprised that more pirates didn't be like, what the fuck are these children? But, I mean, everybody's minding their own business until, you get a little closer, and then they realize they could take advantage of the kids because the kids start, fucking Wim pulls out some money, and they're like, oh my god, yeah, a little more. This is worth a little more. And then another guy's, he's trying to rip you off. You didn't give me that. And then the big old hoopla, starts over that. And in fact, one of the alien races that we see here with the spikes on his face, and he's got a necklace in the half shape of a moon. I think it's the same guy that we've seen in Mandalorian, because this takes place at the same time.
Yeah, it does. I was like, I've seen this one
that
before.
guy
I forgot
was
where,
the one that was on
he
the
looks
planet.
So familiar.
That's like, this is a bar now, not a school. It's the same guy, as far as I've seen. We'll see. So
yeah. Then we see another bar that the girls are walking by. It's like, maybe we could ask for help there. It's like, no. And then one of the ladies sees him. He's like, what are you doing here? You guys are kids. So I don't know if she was trying to help or
I think she was trying to help.
Who knows?
A little more empathetic than some of the other things.
Yeah, for sure.
As these other pirates are like, all right, let's check these kids for more money as they try to rip them apart.
Because they have mint condition these things that's supposed to be a legend, and no one's ever really heard of it.
Yeah, they're paying in diamonds. And it's like, where did you get that? Well, you have to have more.
Yeah, and as they're exploring the markets, that's when we see the little Captain EO creature Easter egg. That it's captured for them. By the end of the episode, it gets released, so that's why the camera lingered on it a little longer. I'm like, what is this? Oh my god, that's the creature from Captain EO. So it's like, it's all right, everybody, he's free.
No, you ignorant.
And Michael Jackson, ignorant. But yeah, so then all the pirates come after him. And she manages to get a gun. Where she got the gun from, I don't know. Maybe she swiped it from the prostitute chick.
There's a lot of dead pirates on the ship. I imagine she just
dead
grabbed
pirates,
one.
Yeah. But unfortunately, and so
she had it on her hip.
Brave, and she's got some gumption to her. Yeah. And I ultimately like her, and hopefully she softens up, especially with how she acts towards Wim. I'm sure these two will come together.
Sure. That's
maybe even a slight, flirtation or a love story, but maybe just friendship. But ultimately, she is not able to convince the pirates of her danger. They just kind of swipe the gun from her, and she's in trouble. Just then, Shmi shows up, and he is a good fighter. And is it that he's still connected to the ship? Do you see like all those wires coming out from the back?
They're just hanging off. There's not a connection. I looked at the.
Okay, because I was wondering if he had. He's like in proximity to the ship only.
He had a cool peg leg, and he's a boxing droid. And
yeah, it was cool. Good scene here. Beats up that bigger cabbage head looking alien. But
the managed to shock him.
Unfortunately, they don't get out of the situation, hop back on the ship. Instead, they are captured. And they got put in jail. And this is all, you could tell kind of the leader of this ring is the guy that we saw from the beginning, this werewolf that took over from the previous captain, because he's like, we did all this, lost good men for only one credit. So I think that this is going to tie in. So that ship had a bunch of loot. The loot's all gone. Where is this loot going? It's going to the treasure planet. So that ship was probably coming back from the treasure planet after having put all the loot there, and he's going to eventually figure out, this is where all the loot is going. I'm gonna, get my loot or something. Meanwhile, he is kind of impressed by, the girl. He says, you need to cool off for a day or two, and so he throw him in jail. Instead of just killing the kids or taking their money. But again, this is for children.
Yeah, Wim's like, how about if I just give them the money and then they let us go? It's like, no, that's a terrible idea. Well, at least I'm thinking about something.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea.
It is.
But at least he is thinking of something. That's when we are introduced to Jude Law's character, which I don't think we got his name yet.
Did they say Jedi. The pirate? I don't know. I thought they said his name in the beginning. The pirate.
Jod. Oh. Apparently it's Jod. And it appears that he's a Force user. Now, we've seen in a series before where somebody's faking the Force and it's like magnets or something. So he could be doing that, or he could actually be a Force user. I think it would be more interesting if he was a Force user, but like an outcast. He's just a not Jedi trained, or maybe a Jedi flunky or something like that, I think would be more interesting. And he basically hears these kids arguing the stuff about the Jedi Temple, the stuff about their planet, the treasure, the ship. And he's like, here's my opportunity. So as he's saying, now that he's got a ship, a way out, that's when he finally grabs the key and says, I will help you.
But yeah, before that, we have the rat scene with Neo. It's like, I guess that's going to be his pet. It's got to be his pet. We need
the rat
fun things. Yeah, go get the key.
Shmi, yeah.
Go get the key. He goes over there and he's like, no, I'm messing up. It's like,
and then it runs away. Oh shit! Hopefully the
be
rat
back.
does
He needs a
get
little
back
pet.
with Shmi, because I
Shmi's
want
gonna do it.
Shmi and the rat to be together, because it's like a fucking pirate thing. So yeah, this one was better. I
Yes.
like this one. Let me see what I gave this. 8 out of 10. I like
I'm gonna give this one a 7. I did like it. It was short. It felt a little short. I was like, oh, okay. What are we gonna do next? Oh, it's over. I was like, the other one was a little bit longer. I was like, maybe you would have switched it up a bit.
I would have definitely swapped the times. 'Cause
Yeah,
I agree.
for sure.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I really like the pirate things. I like that we've introduced things. The story is finally getting going. And at the end, I was like, wait a minute. I wanted 50 minutes of this and 20
Yes.
minutes of that. That is the Amblin formula.
Exactly.
And we've swapped it for character development on kids that honestly, they don't have much character, and I don't want them to see them develop. So
yeah, we'll learn about them later.
Yeah,
That's
we'll figure that stuff out later. So 7 out of 10.
Okay, let's see how many episodes there are in the series.
I'm gonna guess 8.
There are 8 episodes in the series.
20 minutes.
So
It's
we
like
got
usually a
2,
Disney-
4, 6.
Disney thing is 8.
Yeah, so we got 6 episodes left. So this could get better, could get worse. But I'm excited for the next episode and curious. Not that excited, but hopefully that it's good.
How many tropes do they include? So is the one credit in the vault series secretly the key? It's the map back to the treasure planet, and he's going to have to get that too? Like, how many things can we possibly throw in that from other...
I don't know. I think ultimately, how do you guys think this will go? Like, where's this going? I think at first, Jude Law's character, John,
He's gonna be trying evil.
Not killing, tricking the kids.
Yes.
But then ultimately, over time, grows a heart and does the right thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see all this shit
Oh,
coming
for sure.
from a mile away. He was the captain at the beginning because he had the stupid helmet on, the voice changer. He's going to know the fucking
and we
wolf
have
guy.
no problem with the tropes as long
Wolf
as
guy
it's
could
done
really
well.
put him in the
Yeah, if
prison.
it's done well, we are totally on board.
Yeah.
But yes,
They're going to have to figure... Yeah, they have to... The bounty hunter's going to come
Put
after
some
them.
originality in it, please. And then ultimately,
and inject some
the
Star Wars stuff.
biggest
Star
one,
Wars.
where I have no idea where it's going, is this mystery about their planet. Because if their planet is ultimately evil, and
They're trying to get there because that's where they have the mint coin or the doubloons.
I guess it could be a depot for the First Order and an evil kind of thing, and pre-Empire and teaching people to conform. Or it could just be a depot for the New Republic, and this is how they hide all their money. That would be boring.
I think it's just too much. You're going into it too much.
Yeah, I think it's El
because
Dorado.
It's just like the kids thing.
It's
It's
a
like,
com-
look, this is a little fun adventure. Don't think about
We
the
need a
planet.
treasure thing.
Yes,
So
yes.
they keep the money on this planet.
It's got to be a completely secret, hidden planet that has money for some unknown reason. The ship crashed there or something, but it was established as El Dorado. No one knows where it is. No one can get there. And then they have the map to get there somehow.
And then ultimately they get the money? No, because there's going to be a bunch of droids defending the money.
The kids get home, and Jude Law has to decide to, he makes
Maybe
the decision.
a heist? You think there's going to be a heist episode?
No, I think that the last episode, the kids get home, and Jude Law has to, the pirates are chasing them, and so he's going to lead the pirates away so they can have their home to themselves and not give up their secret.
There you go. All right, so that's what we think. We'll see how predictable it is. So far, it's been extremely predictable, and we'll see if it's got any surprises up its sleeve. Like I said, we don't have problems with tropes if they're done well, but even if you do a trope well, it
There's
needs
always
its own
gonna be
it's
like
going to come down a
comparison
little
as
bit
well.
because there have been
Yes.
things that have done it more originally and came before and more genuine. But I hope that it's going to be something that I can recommend to everybody by the end. All right, so that's it so far for the Star Wars Skeleton Crew premiere. We'll update you on the episodes as we go along. And thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.